Alright, in this part I just want to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy 15. And is it me, or is this game was kind of disappointing? At least in my personal opinion. I wasn't as hyped for it as a lot of other people were. When a game takes more than I would say 4 or 5 years to be released, when you already know it was in development for that long, it's most likely that game is not going to live up to the hype. It's going to keep developing hype, and it's going to become pretty much impossible for that company to live up to it. So I think Final Fantasy 15 wasn't necessarily doomed at the time. I think that them constantly releasing trailers and then not releasing a release date and just saying in development really hurts them. And it's Square Enix marketing, man. It's sometimes it can be good, like what they did with what they do with Kingdom Hearts. They show the trailer sparingly, whereas a Final Fantasy game, they seem to show it a lot, and it actually turns out to be detrimental to what they're trying to do. Now, the reason I'm even talking about Final Fantasy 15 now is, like I said, I was waiting for the hype to die down a little bit. When I was playing it, when a lot of other people was playing it, and we was enjoying the hell out of it, we thought it was great. And then it wasn't until I beat the game, after putting about 75 hours into the entire thing. And this is still missing a couple of side missions, but it's mostly just like bounty hunter stuff. Just go here, kill that monster there, that's it, blah, 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 blah. It's tedious. It becomes tedious after a while. You're just like, okay, you know what, let me just beat this freaking game. So by the time I got to like level 70, I was just like, nah, I'm gonna beat the game. And the ending and the final boss was easy because of that. I was just way too overpowered. There's a reason why I never recorded anything from the game, and it's mostly because I didn't find it as entertaining as I thought I was going to. Well, compared to like the older Final Fantasies, and I know just saying, oh, you always gotta bring in the old stuff. Oh, you're blinded by nostalgia. Well, I've recently played Final Fantasy X again because I brought it for PS4. I had a much better experience with that than I did this. Hell, even Final Fantasy X 2 had some decent stuff in there. It's not better than Final Fantasy 15 in terms of 10-2. 10-2 sucks compared to 15. There's definitely some effort being put into this game in terms of the way it looks. Its animations on the characters, it's fantastic. Some of the field of view seems to pop in a little bit later on. I don't know what's going on with that as far as some low-res textures, but they're few and far in between in the game. My problem mostly comes in with the writing and some of the voice acting and a couple of the characters. Now, and I don't know if it's because of the voice acting or not. Noctis, the main character, he's kind of bland to me. He's kind of uninteresting. Even his voice acting doesn't really sell it as much. Now, this is me referring to the English voice actors. The Japanese voice actors actually do a better job, in my opinion, of portraying emotion, adding some more depth to the character. But at the same time, everyone else pretty much does a pretty good job as far as like the English side. I think Noctis was kind of boring. I didn't really find him all that interesting, and as a protagonist, he's not like how Tidus is or Cloud is from Final Fantasy VII, or Zack was, who was a very upbeat person. He just seems miserable pretty much throughout all the game, and for the rare times that he does show emotion, it feels like he's faking it. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's the voice actor's fault, or if he was just written that way. It's just a couple of scenes, a couple of times I just want to strangle him. The only thing I like about him was his powers, and that was pretty much it. And then we have the female who plays Luna Freya. I don't know, I forgot what the voice actor's name is, but Noctis, to be betrothed, the person he was going to be engaged, well, he was engaged to, he was going to marry. Oh my god, her voice actor sounds so fucking annoyed throughout this game. It's as if I know the game went through production hell, and you can totally feel that, because I'm going to talk about that in a second. Now it feels like there's a lot of things being cut out this game. She has a tone in her voice what makes her sound like she really doesn't give a shit, or that she's been called back for so many re-recordings of her voice and reshoots that she just feels like she doesn't want to do it anymore. and the small scenes that she's in, you're just like, oh my god. It was like, how can I describe it? It was like Willa Holland in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Although she is getting better. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 2.8. It was like her in Birth by Sleep, where you go back and play that game again, man. Her voice acting is terrible there. Absolutely terrible. You know, Vin, we can save you. It's no problem. You're my best friend. That monotone voice, I fucking hate it. Put some goddamn emotion into your acting. I don't care if you are voice acting. Do something. And that's one of the biggest problems with her character. She's not a bad character. It's just she's portrayed as the voice actress doesn't sell it as much as she should. Even when she's getting stabbed in the game, she's just like, I'm stabbed. Who has a reaction like that besides the main character in Resident Evil 7, who's another character who gets stabbed, gets his arm fucking cut off, and has no real reaction to it. It's just like, whatever. It's just another annoying ass day, just another bump in the hurdle of life. No, you got your fucking arm cut off. No, you got stabbed in the stomach. Show a little bit more emotion than that. That's the biggest problem. And there's definitely a couple of NPCs and side characters which just look terrible model-wise. Some character models look fantastic, and other ones, especially a lot of NPCs, just look downright terrible and just generic. I actually don't know what to say about it. And low resolution. They actually looks low res compared to these very well done character models of the main characters. Like the main characters here, they look fantastic. But then you're talking to an NPC which looks like complete and utter shit, whose mouth physics don't even match up with what he's saying. It's so weird. It's so unfinished. It feels unpolished. Which goes into my next point, that there are characters, it seems like there's story plots or elements that either get skipped over, forgotten, or just never mentioned again. There are characters that die off screen. You don't know how they died, you don't know why well, you do know why they died, you just don't know how they died, you don't see them die. You kind of get the why, but it's not really elaborated on until like towards the end of the game. Characters that they introduce for one moment. There is a character that's introduced for one boss battle. He says a line, you defeat him, he dies, he is never mentioned again. And I don't know if this is just Square Enix just trying to connect to their stupid ass CGI movie, which I heard actually wasn't that bad, but if I have to go watch a movie, or if I have to go on the internet to learn about the lore of the world, you're not doing a good job. That's not good writing. It has to be within the gaming universe. You have to explain why this is happening, who this is happening to, and their reaction to it, and what they're going to do about it. That's what a story is. And when you kill off characters, or you introduce a character that gets killed off in the same exact scene or in the same exact battle, or it's killed off screen and never mentioned again until like the end of the game, and you're like, wait, who's this? Who's this guy? Am I supposed to remember who this is? Like, I don't know. I don't know why that's the case. It's possibly a little bit worse than Metal Gear Solid 5 in my opinion. And maybe some stuff are put into DLC. Like one of the characters actually gets blinded for life. This is a big thing that happens when one of the main characters gets blinded. He's not able to see anymore. And after you put in so many hours into the game of him being able to see and him being a good fighter, and then he has to adapt to not being able to see, it's not explained how he was blinded. I'm sure the DLC explains it. I am not going to pay for the DLC in order for a $60 fucking game, which should already be in the game, but whatever. And that's my problem. Like I said with Metal Gear Solid 5, it seems like where Metal Gear Solid 5, we know it wasn't fully finished, and the second half of it was just kind of thrown in. This seems like there was chunks, or there was just parts taken out. Yes, I want to know about this awesome character that you introduced that only had one cutscene, and then he or she dies at the end, and the only thing you possibly see is their corpse, or maybe you might not even see their corpse. Maybe they might not even mention again. There's a couple of characters, I swear, that aren't mentioned again. And after we've gotten so many trailers and promos and advertisements about what this was going to be, and it was going to be this big war and open world and blah blah, it was going to be so epic, and most of that shit happens off screen. I don't understand why. I think when it was brought over to Final Fantasy 15 from Versus 13, a lot of it changed with it. I don't know if Nomura is working on that, or he became the director. I think somebody else became the director. I don't know the full details. I know some things, but I don't know the full details. I just hope. Now I know Kingdom Hearts 3 is Nomura's baby. It's Tetsuya Nomura's baby. All right, so Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely possibly going to be better than 15. But I was really hoping that they didn't go down the DLC route. Square Enix doesn't know how to do DLC right. I'm sorry. When you do DLC, it's downloadable content. It's supposed to add on to the game, not remove from the game and then add on later through a paywall. No, that's not how that works. What are you, a fucking first-person shooter? You're not, okay? You're a fucking RPG. Stop taking shit out your games and then putting a goddamn paywall over it and then expecting everyone is just gonna assume to buy it. No, after I beat this game with a very interesting ending, the ending is actually so fucking sad that I wanted to make this video sooner, but I could because the ending actually is not that bad. No, the ending doesn't explain everything, but from the way it's ending and stylized, especially after you put so many hours into this game, you're just like, wow, this is how it ends. It's a bittersweet ending. Kinda satisfying, but leaves so many questions. And of course the game never answers those questions. We'll just keep it open-ended. Well, I doubt there's gonna be a sequel to this piece of shit, unfortunately, so I don't know why you just didn't answer the fucking questions instead of leaving them open-ended. Oh, but I'm sure it's gonna be in some DLC or something. I'm so fucking sick of DLC. DLC that doesn't add on to the experience rather than take away from the fucking thing. Honestly, if you want a better open world RPG kind of style game, you'd be better off buying Skyrim or fucking Witcher 3, which is a fantastic game. I recently just bought this, and this is possibly one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game of all time. Kingdom Hearts is my favorite franchise series, but this might be my favorite game of all time, Witcher 3. Go pick this up. Much better Final Fantasy 15 than what we get. Skyrim remastered. Much better Final Fantasy 15 than what we get. Feel like it could have been more here, and I don't understand how people just let this slide. I don't understand how people are giving Final Fantasy 15 so many good reviews, or if it's even making top 10 lists of 2016. I don't think it's a bad game. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's possibly about a 7 to me. So I think it's good because I did put, like I said, I put 70 hours into it, and there's a lot of stuff I like. I love the chocobos, the interactions with them. I love the fact that at night harder bosses come out, these sort of demon things. I like doing the side missions. I've actually enjoyed the side missions more than I did the main story. I like doing bounty hunts, shit like that. I like the fact that this is an actual open world Final Fantasy game. But it could have been better. It could have been a lot better. I know it went through production hell, and they just wanted to sort of get it out. It's been over 10 years. Going on 11 years. Well, it's already out now, so yeah, it was over 10 years that this game's been in production, and now since we finally got it, I feel as though I didn't waste $60, which is a good thing. I did walk out of it saying, like, I don't think that was a waste of $60, but I probably should have rushed to the store to try to play it. I went to get this thing faster than I've gotten Kingdom Hearts 2.8, which just came out, and I still don't have that. I don't know. I wish I could know why people, thought it was so good. I thought it was just decent, okay. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was great. I don't see how people can think it's great, how it can make people's top 10 list when it's so obviously missing stuff from its game. A couple of the characters so nonchalantly don't give a shit on what's going on. It's so weird. Honestly, this might be my last Final Fantasy game. I don't think I'm gonna buy another one. At least I don't think another one's going to appeal to me. I was kind of waiting for this game, and then when it came out, it just sort of came out. I was actually mad that it was delayed. I was possibly one of the only people that was mad that it was delayed. And then when it came out, I completely forgot about it. Then I ran to the store and I got it. And I don't know if it was worth it or not. At least not now. If it was probably lower price, and maybe I don't mind paying $60 for it like I did, but and in the future, maybe I might come back and say some more about it after I buy the DLC. I completely doubt it. Completely doubt the fact I'm going to make another video about it, or I'm going to buy a DLC. But if I do end up doing that to get some sort of clarification, because after I beat this game, I don't care what they're adding onto it now. I played your full game, so what else? You had one time to give me a first impression. It wasn't that great. So that's my 2 cents. I'm glad I finally get a chance to talk about Final Fantasy 15. I don't know if I'm going to put this in another video where I'm going to add this onto the Star Wars, to the Star Wars clip that I just recorded, but how long has this gone on? I've almost been talking for a half an hour, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. Well guys, thank you for watching, and I have one more video to make. Once I post that, I'm going to tell you why, or what's going to happen to this channel after this. And thank you guys for watching all the way through. Final Fantasy is Star Wars. So looking forward to episode 8. Final Fantasy 15. Not looking forward to seeing it ever again. It's so sad. I knew this. I was like, I give it a month or two, and then Final Fantasy 15, just like Resident Evil 7. Once these high-level YouTubers finish Resident Evil 7, you're probably, especially after that ending, you're probably not going to really care anymore. Or, oh well, there's some future DLC that's coming out that's supposed to be, that sounds pretty interesting. I don't know about the main game with Resident Evil 7 because the characters suffer from what Final Fantasy 15 suffers, but far worse. The characters kind of suck. I found the characters boring, except for the family that's infected with the virus. That's the only part of the game that's actually worth it in Resident Evil 7. I was about to say Final Fantasy 7. I like Final Fantasy 7. Okay, catch you guys later.